Can you hear me? Am I audible on the stream? Is my view visible? I certainly hope that it is. Good afternoon. Welcome once again to Setup Sunday. Let me just very quickly check that this is working. It is. Excellent. That's what I like to see. Okay. So, once again, let me just do that quickly. Once again, we're back for a Setup Sunday in my lovely VR. This time, we're continuing on with TCR cars. We're continuing on with Australian tracks. But instead of Adelaide, this time we are at Symmons Plains. Symmons Plains? Symmons Plains! A track that I do not know, but it doesn't seem very complicated. It seems very short, and so I would imagine I'm going to be able to learn it pretty quick. Let me go back over to the game for you. Same deal as last time. I'm making a setup for some friends. The aim is to simply get quicker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what I had made last time for Adelaide, and I'm going to see if that is appropriate. If it is not, I'm going to reset it and start totally from scratch. I know that I should be aiming for around a 57-second lap. Other than that, I don't know, just drive quickly, I guess. So, yeah. We might as well just get going. Oh, by the way, the camera's on the other side, because I realised that last time, because this is my left eye, so it shows more of the left side of the car than the right side of the car, which meant that when my camera was on the right, you couldn't see anything. So that's why that's changed. Otherwise, it's the same deal as last time. We're back in Assetto Corsa. Hopefully you can see everything okay. Hopefully you can hear the car okay. I certainly can. Let me just get all gloved up while I'm here. So, yeah, as mentioned, I'm going to try and make a setup for this car. We're going to try and get below a 57-second lap time. Hopefully get into the 56s. That being said, I don't know whether I'm using the same version, like the same mod of this track as the one that is actually happening in the event today. So when I say I'm aiming for a 57-second lap, that could be complete fiction. I could be totally making that up. I could in fact be aiming for something much, much quicker, but let's just try our best. Let me just line up the old VR as well, because we seem a little bit out of line at the moment. That's better. Okay, we're in business. Time to do an outlap and learn the track. The one thing that I have done is a couple of sighter laps in a road car on a controller, just so that I literally know where the track goes vaguely. So I kind of know where the track goes, but other than that, I don't really know what I'm doing. And as mentioned, we're on the setup from Adelaide, so that's probably not going to be appropriate. Oh, and I haven't driven this car since last Sunday, so... Okay, that's not too bad. A breaking point for a guess. Yeah. So, making a setup again. Let me just do that and do that. Right. Yeah, we're trying to make a setup again. We're going to try and go really quick. If anybody's interested, I may well be using a little bit of Motec later on. So if you want to see how I use Motec for Assetto Corsa, how I read into that data, then you'll be able to see that. I'm also obviously going to be talking a bit about why I'm making certain changes, what my priorities are, trying to explain my reasoning behind different setup changes, and then explain what the effect is. Now obviously the setup that I make is probably going to be totally useless for you, because I doubt that you're about to do a race in a TCR car at Symmons Plains. But if you are, it'll be useful, and I will show you the final setup at the end of the day. If you're not, however, I think what I'm really trying to share here is my reasoning, my process, like why I'm changing certain things, what I prioritize. That's bad. What difference changing things actually makes. But at the moment I'm just trying to learn the track. That's step one, is learn the track. Seems quite fun, but it is very short. We just did a 59.5, so we've got a couple of seconds to gain. I'm braking a little bit too early into there. I can brake a bit later. Noticing that if I brake that early into that corner, then all I end up doing is coming off the brakes too soon, not having the weight on the nose, and actually getting understeer into the corner. Even though I braked earlier. Had the same... Ooh. No, had the opposite effect there. Where I braked too late, ended up with all the weight over the nose, and spun. A reminder, of course, that the pedals are not for going fast or slow. The pedals are for turning the car. Okay. Right, I think that's going to be the tricky section, isn't it? And at the moment, it's not looking too hot into there. That wasn't too great. So far I'm kind of just trying to get used to the feel of the car again. Let's brake a little bit early into this corner. That was a bit better. Wasn't too bad. I think we got some time through there, through that first little complex. There's some time that I can gain. Well, let's try and send it into this corner. That was bad. That was very bad. Got my arms all crossed up. You've really got to put a lot of steering lock on to get around that hairpin, so... Oh, that was bad. All around, terrible, terrible corner. Still not enjoying that first sector. Feels a bit weird. Not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing through there. Hairpin was awful. Let's see if I can avoid messing up this corner this time. I wasn't too hot, but I kind of made it work. That wasn't the greatest. What time was that? That was a 58.4. Okay, we got like a second to go. go forwards on the brake bias there, 71.5. See if that helps at all. See what we can do into this corner. That was bad. That was just bad. It's a very tricky last corner there. I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't really know what the line is. I like how I started out this stream by saying it seems like a simple track and it shouldn't be too hard to learn. And here I am struggling to learn the track. That was bad. Take that forward to 72% on the brake bias. That felt okay. Just need to be heavier on the brakes. The corner doesn't look tight, but it is actually quite a tight corner. Okay, what lap time was that? That was a 58.0, so we gained 0.4 of a second on that corner that time. Differential. Maybe I just want to increase that diff power locking a little bit more to get me out the hairpin. Did I carry speed? No, I kind of lost speed, I think. Yeah, I definitely feel like a slightly more locked diff is going to help me around here. Lots of kind of slow speed traction zones. Seems like the track is a lot about getting the car stopped, getting it turned, and then launching it out of the corner in a straight line, which favours quite a locked differential in terms of the on power differential. Because you really want to oh dear. You really don't want to be wasting that power going to like a spinning inside wheel, which you would have with a more open diff. Which is why the car feels like it's not going anywhere out of these slower corners. Right, I'm gonna change that. And then I'll start to think about what else I should do. I'm also gonna push that brake bias forwards, like I did do in the cockpit. One thing to always note when you're tweaking a setup in AC is push the brake bias to where you need it in the cockpit, but then change it to whatever value or like a close value to what you're using on track in the setup, because otherwise it doesn't save. So now if I go back out on track with what I had before, if I didn't tweak it in the setup menu, it would go back to whatever the setup is, which was 71, even though I'd moved it to 72 in the cockpit. So that's not very good. Diff power's already on 60. Is 75 going to be too much? I feel like it probably is going to be. I'm also going to yeah, I'm gonna stiffen up the diff coast quite a lot, because I think that will help. What else? Where was the aero? The aero was already fine. Oh, the pressures are probably all wrong. So in terms of the toe, I don't know yet. I'll leave that as is. Suspension, quite soft. Quite soft suspension. But also not much suspension range. Might up that on the front suspension. Get the car turned. Might keep it quite low on the rear to keep that kind of high speed maneuverability. Like through the last corner. Yeah, A or B, that might be something to tweak a little bit later on. Dampers are definitely going to need to change. Probably my cambers and my toes as well, and pressures. But I will, for now, save that and give it a go. So all we've done is we've just changed the brake bias forwards a bit, locked up the differential a little bit more to stop it kind of squirreling around on the entry to the corners, but hopefully give me a bit more drive out of them. And then I've also increased the amount of suspension travel at the front before it hits the bump stop to hopefully give me a little bit more bite on corner entry. Okay, diff seems better already, and that was only the first corner. Okay. It's not too bad through there. Okay. That curb is bad for traction. We've learned that. Oh yeah, that diff really rockets me out of that hairpin. Just locking up that differential a little bit has just meant that when I put the power down, the front wheels are really managing to kind of hook up. That was bad through there. I lost a tenth or two. That was not too great either. What are we down to? 57.9. So we're into the 57s. Can we go any quicker though? Tire pressures are very incorrect. Back right is correct, back left is correct, front left is 1 too low, front right is too high, okay. That seemed better through there, carried a bit of speed and got the car turned. We've lost a lot of time on this lap in general, but I could see that I was gaining time coming through that corner. I'm not enjoying T1 and 2. Line is all kind of wrong through there. Yeah. that was bad. That was very bad. Ah, that curb. It does not like that curb, does it? Tyre pressures. Let's do the tyre pressures. Because I know what I need to do with those. It's fairly straightforward. Which is decrease that one, increase that one. I think I might need to increase the rear left by one as well, but I'll leave that for now. What else? On the toe. Might want to just reduce a bit of toe out on the front, get more traction. It seems very traction limited. The toe on the rear, I don't want to change. It seems okay. Dampers, I might need Motec for the dampers, but for now I'm going to leave it. ARB, I'm going to try and increase the ARB. Give me some more turn ability. And I'm going to possibly change those front wheel rates. I might just increase those. Maybe. Right, leave that for now. So we're down to a 57.942. This is with like a race worth of fuel in the car, by the way. So I'm definitely not on quali speed. I don't know how much weight affects this car. I actually don't know how much it weighs. I'm sure that the amount of fuel I've got in isn't affecting it that much. Warming the tyres a little bit. They come out of the box pretty cold. I think I'm just going to be lighter on the brakes through there, try not to lock up as much. That's the issue. And that's way too early on the brakes, just means that I got down to turning speed way too early. So I could just send it over the grass. So I need to be braking after the 100 board into that hairpin, which is very late. Okay. Okay, through the last corner. Bad. Bad, 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 bad. What we got on the pressures? Pressures are looking okay. Pressure's good on the right, pressure's good on the front, rear left, possibly a bit low, but we'll see. Okay, that was bad. I got a good exit, but I was slow at the apex. And that was a really bad hairpin as well. Brake too late. Rear tyres are freezing cold. Terrible through the last corner again. Okay through the first complex there. That felt okay. Wasn't the worst hairpin in the world, but it wasn't fast. It felt pretty sluggish. Lost about a tenth through there, I think. And that was just bad. I just came off the brakes like an idiot. It looks like a high-speed corner, but it is not a high-speed corner. Slow the car down. I'm just trying to like get that into my brain that I need to slow the car down. Okay. I am going to increase that pressure a little bit. Next. I'm thinking. Actually, I don't know. Still don't really understand the camber on this car. I think I want more front camber. I'm going to go to 4.6. And we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. Camber. Not camber. Dampers. Not sure on the dampers. Minimum of 80, and if I increase I get like 10 mil of extra suspension. A lot less rake. That may be beneficial, having a bit more ride height. Lifting up that front suspension, give me a bit more ride height. Able to get over those curbs a bit easier. Stiffen up the damper? No. Don't really want to stiffen up the dampers. I want to soften the rebound a little bit on the front. Alignment, so in terms of toe out, I don't particularly want much. Oh, I've got toe in at the front. What am I doing? What I want. That's what I want. I want toe out at the front. Well, that's why it feels weird. Or one of the many reasons, I'm sure. Go for 100 mils of travel on the front and leave that be. Okay. Let's see what happens. With a bit more front ride height, hopefully I can clout those curbs. Because that was the problem in the first sector. I was coming up against those curves, I was hitting them and the car did not want to go over them. Whereas I feel like there's a lot of time to be gained if you've got confidence to just send it over those. Like if I'm okay like doing that, not on that curve, there's no benefit on that specific curve, but I mean being able to just drive over them like that, if I can maintain speed, then I feel like that's going to be a big benefit. I can brake later into that last corner, I think. Okay, that felt better over the curbs. It didn't feel like I hit the curb with the bumper, it felt like I hit it with the actual wheel. So maybe that is what I needed to do. That was awful through there. See what can happen through the last corner though. Yeah, definitely better through the last corner. I can brake later. Not too bad. Oh, I'm losing 3/10 through that hairpin every lap. Or more, 3 or 4 tenths. And I came off the brakes because again I came into that last corner thinking it was a high-speed corner and it's not a high-speed corner. It is a slow-speed corner. I don't know why it's so deceptive, it's very strange. All bad. What happens if I do that? Oh, that was terrible. It was catastrophically bad into there. Now I'm just like braking too late and sending it into the corner, and that's just not a good way to drive that corner. was bad. I think 71.5 on the brake bias is better. Oh, I don't even know. This track is not very fun in this car, I will say that. Like, it feels like I want to be able to clatter over the curbs a bit. And it also feels like I need a car with a really bitey front end. I can imagine that this would be good fun in a V8 supercar. Because it would be all about managing the throttle on exit to try and get good traction. Whereas in a car like this, where all that a heavy right foot is going to give you is a load of understeer, it just makes for a very frustrating track. Just bad. I don't know why I'm so bad into there now. I just am. Relatively, though. Relatively okay. In terms of setup. Where's my mouse? There we are. I am gonna have a brief look at Motec. See if there's any obvious issues with the dampers or anything like that. And then, to be honest, this might just be a really short setup Sunday. Because I don't really know what else I'm supposed to do other than drive faster, and I can't really be bothered sitting here hot lapping this track because it's not very fun. Let's open up Motec. I said let's open up Motec. There we go. We got it. ACTI circuit base. And what is it called? Symmons Plains. Let's hope that the track is actually called Symmons Plains. S-Y-S. Symmons Plains. I have actually driven it in a V8 supercar before, apparently. But I only did a 135, so I was clearly not trying very hard. Right. On that last run, even though I didn't do a particularly spectacular lap, let's have a look at the dampers. Damper histograms. One click of stiffer rebound on the front, but the rear is about perfect. Okay, that's fine. One click of stiffer... Wait, yes, stiffer rebound? Or softer rebound? Hang on a minute. That's low, too high in the low, means I want to soften. Yeah, I want one click of softer rebound on the front. Excuse me. And I realize I'm not showing my screen right now, but you're not missing anything particularly interesting. All I've done is, well, I'll briefly share my screen. Not gonna capture this one, right? So I'm looking at damper histograms. So the front two, so the pink graph and the red graph there. The pink graph, especially, but also the red graph, you can see that we're not getting a nice peak in the middle. If you look at the light blue, the sort of cyan one in the bottom left, which is the rear left tire, that's kind of what we're looking for. The dark blue is reasonable. I can deal with that. The red is bad, but it's not horrendous. But the pink is pretty bad. The main issue being that we're not getting a nice peak. I think that the main issue is the imbalance between the rebound and the bump. I want to bring this, that kind of weird shape on the left of the graph there, I want to bring it down. So what I'm going to do in the game, we go back to the game, is if I go over to dampers and I soften the front rebound a little bit, what that's going to do is that is going to reduce the percentage of the movement of the damper to be in that low range. Basically, what the graph is telling me is that I need to let the front tire rebound quicker, which is what I have now done. One thing that I do want to have a look at, though, is in tires temperatures. So we look at these orange ones. I don't know how easy it is to see these numbers on screen, but if we're looking at basically I'm looking at the spread. So the red is the temperature of the inner, the orange is the temperature of the middle, and the blue is the temperature of the outer part of the surface of the tire. And I want all three of those to be equidistant from one another. So I want the gap between the inner and the middle and the outer to be the same. Now on this front left, they are the same. On the rear left, I can see that I've got a bit too much camber in the car because the orange and the red are too close to one another. Same on the rear right. I would probably say that that is a click or two too much rear camber. The front camber on both sides, though, seems about correct. So I'm going to leave the front camber as is. I'm going to go back into the game. Going to have a look at the alignment, and I'm going to reduce by 2 clicks the rear negative camber, bring it down to minus 3.7. By reduce the camber, I suppose I technically mean increase the camber because I'm making it less negative. But you know what I mean. Slip ratios. You can see that the inner tire is still slipping a bit more than the outer, but it's not too bad. So what that means is that I could potentially lock the diff a bit more on power, but I'm not gonna. In terms of rear locking, I am getting a bit of rear locking into those heavy braking zones, which is not great. So there's potentially work to be done on the brake bias, front to rear. We go back to suspension and just have a look at ride heights. Oh no, sorry, I want to look at suspension travel. don't know, ride height on the front is pretty high. Going down, if I hit that, what are we looking at? Suspension travel 60. Wow, I mean, it's a lot of extra front suspension travel we've got available, so that's fine. On the rear, the ride height on the rear, if we go to the last corner, we look at the right rear ride height, 83. We've actually got negative rake there. In fact, on average, our rake is neutral, so we actually want a bit more rear ride height, I think. Suspension travel there on the rear right, we're looking at 60, which is hitting the bump stop, which is about right. So that's fine. But we look at the ride height. The ride height graph is showing that on power, we have what have we got? We got 82 compared to 91. We've got negative rake here, which is not what we want. 82, 91, yeah. So we need a decent amount more rear ride height. So if I go in here, that's why, because we're neutral at the moment, aren't we? So we're going to go up 5 on either side. Maybe we'll go up 10 on either side. Give it a nice bit of rake. It's probably quite good. That should help. Okay. All right, we'll give it one more quick go. Save that setup. I think that we are now about correct. Whack the gloves back on. Do one more run. And this would have been a nice, nice short setup Sunday this week. Quick and efficient. Get in the car, do a few laps. Realise, don't like the track. And immediately do something else. Which sounds fantastic. Bear with me. Just putting the gloves back on. Okay. We're in. Let's go. Okay. Lovely. Car is reasonably responsive. Feels like it's doing what I'm telling it to do. I'm not driving very well, but that's not the point. Okay, we feel good through turn 1 and 2. Car is agile, responsive, feels good. Car is okay through the hairpin, a little bit slow on the way out there. I maybe stepped on the throttle a bit too hard, but that's fine. coming out the last corner. Nice and fast. That felt good. So that was a 57.95. I was a little bit slower than my absolute best, but there's more time in it. Car felt better than it did on the lap before Motec. I'm just going to save that. And then I'm going to check Motec. Whenever you've made a change based on a graph, for example, my dampers, I made a change on the dampers based entirely on the graph, rather than necessarily on feel. Whenever you do that, make sure that you make the change, drive the car, check the graph again. Damp histograms, much better. Not perfect, but better. Like potentially we could soften the rebound on the front another click, but I don't think I really need to. It's okay. So that's that. Setup complete in record time, I might add, in record time. So if you're interested in the setup, here it is. So we've got all of our different settings here. What I managed to do. Filming using a VR headset is a very strange experience. There's the suspension, advanced suspension, and I haven't done a pit stop, so there's no point me showing you that, but that's that. That was Setup Sunday once again. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, stick around, because I'm going to be doing a bit more sim racing coming up, hopefully fairly soon. And if you want to see more of my crazy post VR headset wearing hair, I'll be streaming a bit more and hopefully doing some more videos fairly soon, if and when I get time. So, have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Hope you have a good week, and I will see you later.